Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Rita Egidio, back on my normal home. I am the host of Dream Warrior. I have Umar. Umar? It's the correct way.
Yes, you are. You're
Oh.
correct pronouncing it.
And I'm so happy because we always need some strong male energy to bring these dream warriors to another vibration. Are you a dream warrior?
I'm a warrior and I have dreams, so maybe that makes me a dream warrior, but actually my male energy would not be as strong as you think. I
Okay.
feel very in touch with my humanness, and I think there's a masculine side and a feminine side.
Mm-hmm.
And my best friends are women, and I'm here to serve and just make the world a happier place.
That is beautiful. So tell us what you do and where are you based?
Where I was raised?
Based. You can tell us where you are raised. I was raised in Africa, so we can talk
share
about
that as well. Sure. So what I do is my superpower is creating a safe place.
Mm-hmm.
So oftentimes people go on a journey, and even when they go to healers or they go to coaches, that there's a part of them that's holding back, that's holding their cards close to their vest. And my superpower is making a comfortable space between me and the person I'm with, that it allows them to go on a journey. So 80% of the healing is done by them by revealing the truth to themselves. And I happen to have some really cool tools that helps them get transformation, but none of that would work unless the person went on a journey open-heartedly.
How do you ask someone to open their heart?
It's really interesting. You don't. What you do is you open your heart. And when you open your heart, see, if I open my heart to you with agenda, like I want to influence you, I want to manipulate you, so I'm gonna open my heart to do that. You can sense that. But if I open my heart with the intention of creating a beautiful connection between you and I, you may not open your heart and we may not have that level of connection. But if I do it with the right intention, most people, despite themselves, it's many times people tell me, it's like, I haven't cried since I was 8. And why am I crying with you? It's like, because I have that effect on women? No, because I think we have this illusion that we hold out to the world, that I am beautiful, I'm pretty, I'm smart, I'm funny, or I am broken, I'm tragic, I'm a victim. And this is just an illusion that we hold out there.
And a combination of both sometimes.
Yeah. And then we have this other place that I call the delusion, is this is who I think I am. So we got this is who I want people to see, and this is who I think I am. And there's a third space, and the third space is who I truly deeply am. And I think the journey for you, for me, for everybody listening and watching is to find the journey to who we truly deeply are. And when we do that, then we don't have this perception of who we are. We know who we are, and that stress of not living our true selves goes away. And then if we're strong enough, we can portray this to the outside world. So the Rita that I see here before me, and the one with her best friends, and the one with her worst enemies, and the one where she's on stage being a DJ, is the same human being. That's when we get to that magical place.
How do you call your people?
My people, by that you mean?
Like I call them dream warriors. Do you have a name?
Right now, I don't. I guess what I'm really trying to do is, so on this journey that I want people to go on, realistically, I would say that I'm 30% there, realistically. But I think most people are a lot less than 30. And there's probably very few people that are at 90. And probably no one at 100. But I think that's just an ongoing thing. So my biggest wish for me would be that I can see the humanity in you.
Mm.
And sometimes I can, and sometimes I see a pretty girl, or I see, oh, I don't like that person, or the other bullshit that comes up. But more and more, I am trying to get to, if sometimes when I do workshops, I tell this story, because when I heard this story, it was magical. There was an author called Robert C. Cooper, and it was one of his journeys. He had gone to Tibet, and this young girl had taught him this thing. I think it was Tahishi delay. And when he learned what that meant, it was made the God in me recognize the God in you. Basically, that's what it means. And I guess that's the journey that I'm on. And that's what I'd like to see in you and the people that I come in connection with. But sometimes my ego gets in the way and I talk about other things that aren't as important.
But, you know, ego is important as well, right?
Absolutely. And I think here's where the distinction is for me, and this is a journey for me, is that I have a great sense of humor. And so if you and I are talking about serious things and you've got some trauma, and I will say some funny things and make you laugh, only because you don't take the work too seriously. And that is a gift because it's done with the right intention. That is not to make light of your situation, but is designed to let you let go of the death grip on the trauma, that you can loosen this up a little bit. So I think ego is the same way, is that when I use ego in the right way, it's a gift for me and gift for people around me. But sometimes I use the ego as a crutch, or maybe use the ego as a weapon. You know, I am smarter than you, which of course is bullshit, but you know, sometimes. So yeah, I think ego is vitally important, but if we use it in the right way.
Nice.
Question is when to know that. I don't always know that.
So what kind of ways do you have? What kind of offers do you have for people to work with you now?
So right now they are probably 4 ways.
Okay.
One way is I was in Lisbon,
Well,
and
I
I
was
was
born there.
really
Mm-hmm.
nice. And so I wanted to go think. So I decided to go to a coffee shop, but right across the coffee shop was a park. And I go to the park and I want to sit down on a bench, and all the benches are in the sunshine, and it's a hot day.
Green bench.
Yes. And so there's one bench with some shade, and there's a woman sitting there. And I go over and say, excuse me, do you mind if I share this bench with you? This is the only one in the shade. And she goes, sure. So she scoots over to one side. I go on the other side, giving her space. And I close my eyes and I go to meditate, to think about, you know, what I should be thinking about. And I feel the bench move. So I peek over at her, and she's closed her eyes and she's meditating too. So I go into meditation, and somewhere in the meditation, I get this thought that I need to ask this woman this question. And so when I come out of my meditation, she's out of hers, and I say, let me ask you, if you had a perfect day 2 years from now and everything had gone exceptionally well, describe that perfect day. And she describes that perfect day. And then we just start chit-chatting, and she tells me about a man that she had met that it didn't work out well, and he had moved to Amsterdam. And then
Oh my God, I lived in Amsterdam as well, 5 years. Okay.
so we are connecting, and she lives in Paris.
Yeah.
And so then she starts telling me about her father, and her and her father were not close, and he got sick with cancer. And that last year they actually became close, and her eyes welled up in tears, and I could tell there was not closure there. And I said, you know, I can help with that closure if you want. I'll put you in a hypnotic trance and you can visit your dad and get closure. And she goes, okay. And I go, well, wait a minute. I'm a stranger in a park. You don't know me. I'm going to hypnotize you. She goes, I know. I don't know why I trust you, but I only have 20 minutes. And so I put her in a trance, and I have her meet with her dad, and I have her really communicate how much she loves him, and he got to respond back. Where she is disappointed in him, he got to explain. He got to tell her how much he loved her. and she got to interact, and he got to share where he was disappointed with her. And they got the closure, they got to hug each other. And I said, okay, they were in a cottage in this hypnotic place. And I said, now it's time to open the door of the cottage and come out. And I'm going to count to 3. And when I get to 3, you're going to feel fantastic. 1, 2. And she opens her eyes and she says, oh my God, there was someone waiting for me outside of the cottage. And I go, who? And she goes, Mr. Amsterdam. And of course, I'm thinking, go to him. But I don't say that. I said, what do you think that means? Maybe I should reach out to him. I said, well, maybe. And then she calls me 2 days later and she says, guess where I am? I go, where? She goes, Amsterdam. And so the first way to work with me is if I see somebody in need, then it would be my privilege to help them just like that. So a lot of times I'll just help people and there's no charge and it's just love. And I think of all the people that have helped me in the past in amazing ways. And it's just my privilege to give back. The second way is coaching. It's coach with me half an hour a week. And so it's short and we get breakthroughs and help you love your life more. And the third one is just some trainings online and maybe some group coaching later on, but pretty much that's it.
Nice. You sound so interesting. I'd like to share my life here.
Yes.
I had a rough year, probably the most rough year of my life, adult life. And it's full of bumps on the way. But a part of me decides to learn how to love herself. And even if other people are upset with my bumps on the way, I know I'm doing progress.
Right.
The reason why I'm sharing this is because I shift my business to focus a lot in healing. Like I said to you on the beginning before the call, I can teach you how to go online. I can teach you how to have more followers. I can teach you how to find more clients. I can teach you in all of that. But then, especially in women, and if you work with women, you'll have that. The raising prices, the finding clients is going to get stuck on I'm not worthy enough. That is there. So I bring EFT and tapping. I don't know if you ever did. I bring EFT and tapping in my own way. I have a very specific way to do it. And I have an amazing journey. And I realized with that journey, then even if I was a DJ for so many years, this is exactly what I want to do. And listen to you talking. I interview a lot of women and I interview some men, but it's something about you then bring a certain peace on your vibration is peaceful and is because it's hard for healers in special to trust and point one to say then we need to heal. Point two, we get a lot of emotions, then even if you protect yourself with mental barriers and Palo Santo and copal and whatever and salt from the sea, you get that. And more, the better healer you become, more that comes to you. Do you need to heal still?
Me? Yes. So let me tell you a story, and I get a sense why we're here together today, which I'll tell you later. So when I met my wife, she was more advanced spiritually than I was. So much so that I used to talk down to her and her friends, and I would call them a derogatory term, third eyers. You and your third eyers. But there was a part of me that really wanted to go on this journey with her. And she was spiritually awakened. And so this is the kind of things that would happen is I would come to bed at night. And after about 2 minutes, she would say, "You didn't clear your energy today." No. "Did you see somebody today with money issues?" And I'm thinking, how the fuck do you know that? Because yes, at 10 o'clock this morning, I had somebody coming in with money issues and their energy was trapped in my field. And I came to bed without clearing my energy. And this woman picked up energy from another person that I was interacting with. So that really opened up my mind to, there's 3 parts of who we are. There is the physical us, there's the mental us, and there's the spiritual us. So I think there is, we all need to clear. And let me ask you a pop quiz. By any chance, do you know what is the medical device that saved more lives than any other device?
No, but I have a feeling you're going to tell me.
Oh, you're clairvoyant. I am. It is the checklist.
Okay.
When the checklist came in, it saved more lives than anything else, because a lot of doctors were like, one of the checklists, do you still have your watch on? They say, oh, I left it in the patient. Old joke, but it saved more lives than anything. And I think as healers, what we need to do is to have a checklist as well. And that I'm guilty of not using it. So before we go in the presence of someone, let's do this together and people can learn from it. First thing to do is to do this one thing. So Rita, with me, just take a deep breath in. Slowly let it out. Do that for 2 reasons. Number 1, it just feels good. Number 2, you realize there is one thing in the world that I control, which is my breathing. And if we can control one thing, maybe we can control other things. Second thing is what I do is to ground myself. And I just imagine I'm connected to the center of the earth. And when I do that, I just see a tree in my mind's eye and become that tree. And so envision a tree in a meadow, a giant, massive trunk, 100 feet tall.
With the roots coming down to Mother Earth.
And from your tailbone and from your center of your feet, connect down through the floor, through the basement, to the earth, to the center of the earth. So take a deep breath in and connect and ground yourself. And then whatever you happen to believe, God, universe, just like golden light come down from above and pour through your body, cleaning out any doubt, any neediness, and just cleanse your body. And then once you do that, just open your heart to the person you're about to meet. And you may just allow a golden shield to go up between you and them to only allow good to come in, but allow you to be connected. And then just doing that when you go in their presence, I think is, I was talking through this. I'm going to do this for real right now. I feel a stillness. I feel a vibration in my hands, being in your presence right now, just by doing that. Just imagine if we did that for people that we love. Forget therapy, forget healing. That it would just change the way we showed up in life. And it's the basic things that we forget because you get caught up. Oh, I got another client. I got to do this. I got to look intelligent. You know, one of the things that turns me on the most, other than hot women, is when somebody reaches out with a problem and I go, I have no freaking idea how to solve that. But I know with confidence, but I know with confidence, somehow when I connect with that person, the answer will come. And together we will go on this journey together. And I know with 100% certainty that's going to happen. That's what really excites me, is the connection and stepping out to the unknown. So can I ask you a couple of questions? So if you put your hand on your heart and you just ask your heart, what is your biggest dream for me? What is your heart's biggest dream for you?
Is peace.
Okay. I'm going to suggest something, and I am not you.
Mhm.
And so this could be bullshit, but don't let me put words in your mouth. You know what I got?
Mm.
Your biggest dream for you, for your heart, was for you to fall in love with yourself.
Or can be.
And
Yeah.
that could lead to peace, or it could be peace leads to that. And now
Mhm.
put your hand on your heart and ask your heart, what is your biggest fear for me in this lifetime?
To be alone.
Yeah. So, but now that you've found me, we are on a journey together. We may never meet, but we're
Mhm.
connected.
Mhm.
So, last question.
Mhm.
Hand on heart again.
Mhm.
Close your eyes, take a deep breath, let it out, and ask your heart, what is your name? What is that special name that you want me to use when I connect with you at any time in any place?
I don't get the other name than Rita. That is the only name
Good.
left.
Excellent.
Nice.
So what questions do you have for me?
What is next for you? What is your vision for you as a coach?
I think it's the hardest thing, and it's coming up as we're talking today. I don't think this meeting was accidental. It's really letting go and just seeing what unfolds.
Mhm.
So I am vaccinated and
Mhm.
boosted,
Mhm.
and I was doing a workshop on Thursday. And during this workshop, there's this one area where you shout out something. And after that, about half an hour later, I started losing my voice. Got flu on Friday and tested positive for COVID on Saturday, hence the beard. I haven't shaved since Saturday. So it's also like a way of just settling down
How
and
do
being
you feel?
better today, but yesterday kind of weak, and the day before weak, so steadily getting better. And I met this delightful woman recently, and so she's sending me a care package where she's maybe 30 miles away, but she's cooked me 2, 3 dishes and she's currying them over. A courier will bring them over to me, which is just saying love and being felt cared for, which is a blessing. So I think letting go. And so I met this woman a while ago, and she had given me this advice when I first started doing this kind of work. And I was telling her, it's so frustrating and so hard doing this work, because in the past when I was doing business, things came easily, and now it's so difficult. And she said, "Oh, Umar, you idiot." She didn't say that, but she said, "Now you're doing spiritual work, your business things are not going to work. What I want you to do is when you meet someone, and if you find them interesting, tell them you want to have coffee and meet them during coffee. And at the end of the coffee, tell them this.
Mhm.
This is what I do. And can you help me on my journey?" And I thought, what are you, an idiot? So for 3 months, I do my normal business stuff. Nothing's working well. And then one day I'm at the health club, and there's a nice gentleman getting dressed after his workout, and we're chit-chatting, and he's half naked, so he's vulnerable. And so we start chatting. I said, we should grab a coffee. And so 2 days later, we grab a coffee, and he tells me what he does. I tell him what I do. And then before we finish, I go, Barry, I help people get breakthroughs, and could you help me on my journey? And he thinks about it for a minute and a half, which is like a really long time. And he says, sure. And then he does an introduction that allows me to move my career forward, and business started opening up. But I think I've forgotten that. And I think right now what I need to do is to just be and just have conversations like this and just see what manifests,
I
which
think
takes faith.
I think one of the majority, like the biggest issue then my coach, what our coaches come to me is asking for money
Mhm.
and accepting money. And I create a blueprint what allows me to work with them so they can start making the money they want with the abilities they have, without going against their values, without going against, just respecting their soul, but being paid for, because it needs to be.
Actually, all of us, men and women, are victims of this, but especially women. And I think women are, I love women. I really do. There's this quote from, in America, they had this dancing couple, Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers,
Of course.
black and white movies. And this is one quote, Fred Astaire is the
Singing
best.
in the rain.
Yeah, Fred Astaire is the best dancer in the world. It's like, sure, but Ginger Rogers did everything he did, only backwards and in high heels. So women are way cooler. But even in the US, there's a disparity in wages. So I think one of the things we really need to learn, and I need to learn too, so I'm not preaching something that I am perfect in this. So let me share another thought, then I'll come back to you. A million years ago, someone took me aside and said, Umar, come on, man. When somebody gives you a gift, it's like, Rita, no, you shouldn't have. It's too much. I can't accept it. And he says, cut that bullshit out. When Rita gives you a gift, just say thank you and accept it with an open heart. Because when you make these verbalizations, you're taking the joy of giving away from Rita, and how dare you do that? And so I think, coming back to the subject at hand, if we realize that money is energy, and the issue that this client has, to me could be, it's a silly little thing, but to that person could be a really large thing. And that large thing is worth a lot of energy, and the can't say the word, remuneration should be parallel to that. And by you asking for less, sometimes you reduce the trust they have in you. It's like, well, how could it work if it's only X?
Yes.
So why should you limit people? So I think really, when you go to ask for money and you get a reaction, the answer to the situation isn't in the other person, is where in your body do you get the reaction? And that's what you need to explore is, oh, okay, this is the reaction, and this is what's causing it. And it might give you a clue to what happened in the past that caused you to limit yourself or see yourself as smaller than you are.
Beautiful. Give me, our time is going away. Give me a quote.
I will give you two quotes because
Okay.
I want to over deliver. Winston Churchill.
Please.
When you get to hell, keep going. This is when you get through that. When there is fear and you get through the fear, you realize the fear was a lie. When you stop short, the fear gets stronger and it holds you tighter. And then I'm going to give you a quote from me. Your journey in life is to find your authentic self and to fall madly in love with it. And only then can you be of a higher service to everyone around you.
It's beautiful. Thank you. I want to say bye to people listen to us, because I think we have 20 minutes to still chat a little bit between us. Thank you so much. It was a beautiful gift that you give to me and my people. Please tell, how can people reach out to you?
So probably the best way to reach out to me is find me on Facebook, and you'll see my name in the show notes, and we'll put the connections. And I've got a new app coming out called Mindset Boosters, which
Mhm.
will allow you to decide how you want to feel or act in any situation. So if you want to feel more love in a moment, you can. Or if you want to lose anxiety in 3 minutes, you can. And thank you for the privilege of being in your presence today.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, guys. I see you on the next one. My name is Rita Egidio, and this was Dream Warriors Podcast. Bye-bye.